Hi, welcome to the Birding for Life morning sunrise service. I hope you're doing well today. And if you're not, you are welcome here to enjoy the beauty of one another and this world. Today is September the 30th. It's the last day of September. We're into our second week of fall. And if you see the clouds behind me, not a lot of light going on today. And matter of fact, it's raining right now a little bit, sprinkling on me because of the hurricane tropical storm Imelda off the coast of South Carolina. So I hope the storms in your life have a chance to be a little bit calm today as we gather together. So let's see. We can't see that Venus and Jupiter rose and the moon set a long time ago, and Saturn did too. Um, they'll be coming up Mercury and Mars really soon, but it's close to the sun, so we won't be able to see it. What are the stars and planets doing in your area? About the birds in your area. Now, the number one rule of this practice is if you see anything wondrous or awesome or anything with life in it or where you feel like, go ahead and interrupt me. I'll be interrupting myself as we go along today. So, what are the birds doing here today? It's pretty quiet. The storm really quieted down the birds. I mean, it's not really stormy here. We only had about 1.7 million birds fly over. It's a They have a program where they can use radar to count how many birds are going over. So about 1.7 million. So it should be much higher, but I think maybe the storm calmed it down. And they should all be coming down now to rest for the day as they quit their nighttime journey. So that's what the birds are doing in this area. And so far, I have only heard cardinals. Like I said, it's really, really quiet. So this is our second practice. So we're still kind of learning how to do this. Uh, we begin with a reading from Terry Tempest Williams. I pray to the birds. I pray to the birds because they help send the message of my heart upward. I pray to the birds because their songs at the beginning and end of the day are like invocations and benedictions. I pray to the birds because they teach me what I love rather than what I fear. And at the end of my prayers, they teach me to listen. So we are here today. We're going to emphasize the practice of listening today. Why don't we just take a moment? Are you here where you are? Let us breathe in deeply. I don't know if you can hear the rain here. It's just sprinkling, so maybe not. So Terry Tempest Williams writes about prayer. What is prayer to you? It could mean possibly that it's giving our attention and communicating with something that is greater than we are. It's an intentional communication to better our lives and the lives around us. And you just write in the comments, whether it's this is recording on YouTube or if you're live right now, what does prayer mean to you? Go ahead and talk to each other. We are here to build community. So listening to birds, spending the time to open ourselves to birds to me seems like a prayer, like Terry Tempest Williams says. We're opening our hearts to something that is more than us, that is the world of birds and trees and ocean and water. And it opens up to what we might possibly see and hear. So let us pause again. Take a breath in, look around and listen. I'm gonna take a turn too. Here we are here in South Carolina, outside of Winnsboro. This is One Earth Retreat Center, in case you weren't sure where you were. So we're in the Piedmont area, and so let's just see what we hear and listen for just a moment. And we can use all our senses, not just eyes or ears, depending on how you're gifted and able. What do you feel on your skin? What do you smell? I smell rain. And I can see the trees moving and I feel the raindrops on my skin as well. You don't have to try and identify the birds when you listen. If you have a story about them or a story about anything, we just come back to our body and we just be with the birds. In some ways, we could say we're just being a bird. So as we listen to that inner chatter, that inner story, breathe deep and let it go and come back to the beauty of the birds. For instance, right now, I might be telling a story. Well, here I am. And on some days, depending on how the wind is blowing, I can hear the trucks on the country road, and I can hear them sometimes on the interstate that's not all that far away. I could be telling a story. Matter of fact, I probably am telling a story of thousands of years of human destruction through this habitat, manipulating the habitat and animals going extinct. That is a story I tell. So I breathe in that story and I look around and I see beauty and I breathe all that in and I listen to my heart that is responding to the beauty. And I breathe out compassion connected to the many others. And I know that I belong to this earth because I feel with everybody else. So look around and listen again. What stories are you telling? You can breathe deep and go, I am a being with the multiple beings. In my area, there have been no birds calling since we started this. How about in your area on webcams? You've seen anything, just write it in the chat. Go ahead. That would be fine. That would be great. So what can you see behind us? Well, you can see the storm clouds moving, and there's a touch of fall colors here. The cycle of life, the trees tell us, and the lack of birdsong says that they're quieter than they were in the spring and summer. They're headed home. They're headed to Central and South America. And the story we might wonder at is how in the heck do they fly so far? Over 1.5 million, and on some days in South Carolina over 9 million. And as I read that they had 100 million at some spot in Mexico headed south a couple days ago. Oh my gosh, that's just amazing. And how do they fly so high up to a couple hundred feet to, I don't know, 2,500 feet or so? How do they do that? And how does the ruby-throated hummingbird, which we have here, and I haven't seen one this week, but I saw them last week. They fly over 500 miles nonstop over the Gulf of Mexico. How is that possible? You see, there are so many stories other than the ones that are in our brains about judging what life is and what birds are and how we are. There's so much more than can ever be known, heard, or seen. So when we come to be with birds, we come to the story that's happening to us right now, letting our body experience in them, letting go of our own thoughts and stories. We come in the moment to be part of the whole, belonging to all. We are whole. We are. Part of our time together is to think about the science of birds. To be with birds is just to have our body move with the bird, but we also want to understand them because we can't get rid of all the stories. So we want to know them. So let's womp some science on us today. I'm thinking about, let's talk about the ruby-throated hummingbird. What are some cool things about them? If you know, write them in the chat. Let's just go ahead and go with it. One really cool thing is they flap their wings over 53 times a second, I mean. Oh my gosh, how do they do that? And they have really short legs, so they can't really walk or hop. One thing they can do is put their leg over their wing to breathe. If I was in the yoga class here at the retreat center, I might be able to do that, but I can't do that right now. What else is cool about ruby-throated hummingbirds? They don't both take care of the young. The male is with the female long enough to have fertile eggs, and then off he goes. And the female's there with an egg that stretches as the birds grow. That was a new fact for me. I didn't know that a couple weeks ago. Maybe made out of cobwebs. So as the chicks grow, the nest expands. Let's see. They are the northeastern. They're the only northeastern hummingbird that breeds here in North America. And the oldest known hummingbird lived to be 9 years old. And let's talk about their hearts. They beat when they're resting about 250 beats per minute, but when they're flying over 1,000 beats per minute, you can't count that. And when they go into torpor, when they're conserving energy, perhaps when it's cold or they're low on energy, it comes down to more what our heart rate is, about 50 beats per minute. There's some interesting things about this bird. So, since we've done the science of the bird and we know that they're here, they won't be here too many more weeks longer. Although we had just had a big blooming of flowers because of the rain that came through with the storm. Be a bird. See, I said that we think about, we study birds, and then we move. We move like birds, so our body knows. We imagine we are a bird. There are many, many birding for life practices, but this is the one we're emphasizing this month. Let's be the ruby-throated hummingbird, maybe first by feeling our hearts. You put your hand over your heart, or maybe on a vein somewhere. Listen, feel your heart. You have a hummingbird's heart. Sure, it's going 10 times faster, easily, but it's beating in the rhythm of the life of the hummingbird. Just imagine it really, really fast. I can count up to about 500 beats per minute as an avian veterinarian on a bird, but over that, you really just have to guess how fast it's going. So you're a hummingbird, and as you fly, you're zipping around, or maybe you're sitting on a perch with your leg over your wing, and you're breathing. Maybe you're really attracted to those red and orange flowers over there. Maybe you're hungry. You're going to go visit them. So why don't we just be that bird, listening to our bodies as we move around flitting? It is a story of ever-present beauty and compassion. Yes, it has plot twist of loss and pain, but the beauty is ever present. So let's just be a hummingbird for a while, shall we? I'll move out of the way. Maybe we'll even see one go by. Let's just take a look and see. Now, if you're watching this on recording, I invite you to pause it and then go on to a webcam or a video somewhere. Even not seeing a bird live, but seeing a recording can also help us connect to them and is good for our health. Even a video recording is doing that. So, what did you feel when you were a bird? We asked the question, what are you feeling and needing? This is a really, you hear that? Can you hear that? I don't think you could hear that. There's our pileated woodpecker. That was our bird of the day last week. Isn't that great? They're here. Oh, you hear them almost every morning. A little bit later when it's raining like this. Yes. Okay, so back to multi-species intelligence. What are they feeling and needing? What are their motivations? So when you were moving like a hummingbird, what were you feeling and needing? What do they feel and need? So when I was a hummingbird, I don't know. I was feeling a little bit of hunger and irritation. It's cooler, it's rainy. I'm hungry. I don't really know, but I have a sense I've got a big trip coming up. I'm a little unsettled. And of course, I'm totally anthropomorphizing. But again, on the basics, like the level of emotions and whether you're moving towards satisfaction or away from harm, these are really basic things. So, as a hummingbird this morning, I was moving a little bit away from harm. It was wet. I was looking for a dry place. I'm hungry, but I don't want to move around in the rain. These are some things going on. And then whatever you feel in need or you think they feel in need, go check their science. Go look it up. Do more observation. Keep listening, like I can hear the pileated woodpecker in the background. And then, based on what you've learned of them, what they're feeling and needing, what might you offer for them? What might what might we offer for them? And so some ideas would be don't use pesticides, plant native plants that might be attracted to the hummingbirds. Don't clear land so they have food to eat. They'll eat nectar or flowers and also insects, small insects. Um, so watch our windows so they don't hit the windows. Make sure, check around your windows, see if there's any glare or reflection where birds might be hitting. What else can you think to do for hummingbirds? Perhaps hummingbird feeders, especially on stormy days. And maybe you just want to say, I'm going to come again. I'm going to learn about birds. And I'm going to build a birding for life community here with Laura Kim or in my own area, because I want to share the story of beauty and I want to share the story that humans are not alone. So please do come back and join us. We have a book out there, Birding for Life. A lot of these practices follow that. You can just ignore it, shut the cover. The birds will be able to guide you. And thank you for being with us this morning. One of these days, we'll be able to see the actual sunrise.